Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are reacting to the final episode of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Now, this episode, I would have to say it's a finale failure because it did not leave much to be desired. I do think Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, MTV Viacom did not get, the desired results they wanted. They were trying to fight back towards the backlash they receive due to Erica Mena and the Spice situation. Okay, so what they try to do, or at least what it gave to me, is that they try to package the final episode in a pretty little bow to give to us as viewers some sort of resolution to this whole situation, in which I feel like it's an HR disaster. Now, guys, come on, we are all seeing and witnessing firsthand what's going on over on Bravo's network, in which many celebrities associated or who has once worked for Bravo are now coming together in a lawsuit complaining pretty much human resources mishaps and disasters. Okay, we are having castmates and past castmates come forward saying the abuses that they experienced while filming for the network. And now we have here a whole little situation over in Viacom MTV. Now, of course, they are trying to, get things under wraps by giving us this little package of, of some sort of resolution. However, I don't feel like it was sufficient enough. Ultimately, how I view how they handled the situation, they should have stopped production immediately once this incident occurred, okay? This all happened in-house, so we don't know anything because we're just viewers. So they knew what happened in the incident between Erica and Spice. They should have stopped production, have castmates come in together for a conversation, and think about what should be the best course of actions to proceed going on, rather than doing this whole game, this whole charade of having Sierra and Bambi be the ones to ultimately find the truth or seek the truth of what Erica said to say to the other castmates. Because remember, the castmates went on to a trip to the Bahamas to celebrate Rashida's birthday, okay? They have learned about the incident that happened with Erica Mena and Spice through Spice and Shakanya. Now, it seemed as though that they didn't believe what went down from Spice and Shakanya's words. Rather, they wanted to know what Erica said. And apparently, the only way we can figure this out is through Bambi and through Sierra because they are friends. So everyone is asking Bambi and Sierra what happened. What did you hear from Erica Mena? Funny enough, Erica didn't tell these ladies the whole truth of what happened in its entirety. She left out key information of what happened in this scenario, which kind of left the impression that Sierra and Bambi were siding more towards Erica Mena. They want to support their friend because no one wants to get behind or against someone who said comments about someone's children. Okay, because that has been Erica's excuse throughout this whole fiasco. Okay, now when they learned and heard from Spy's side that this event happened, they didn't accept it in its entirety. Instead, they challenged it, they questioned it, and they said we have to put this on pause essentially and talk to Erica. Now Erica was not returning the lady's phone calls, and then when she finally had some free time, she chose to talk to Bambi about the situation. Now, before we get to that, the episode did open up with Erica Mena talking to her team member about the situation. And to me, it didn't give very much a genuine conversation where she's holding herself accountable. Rather, she's actually excusing her behavior as to her defending her son, her protecting her son. Now, I don't think we're going to get a genuine conversation for someone who works for Erica Mena, because at the end of the day, they're considering preserving themselves and their job. So I don't think they're at a space in which they can really talk to Erica or you know, discuss what happened. That was not their role. That was not their position. Rather, it is the role of Erica Mena's employer, which is MTV, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Viacom, to have this conversation with her, to at least one on one. We have to know they had to have a conversation behind closed doors on this situation. You know, she has to convince them of what she did. She doesn't have to convince someone who works for her about the situation to make this all go away. So back to the trip. Erica Mena finally returns Bambi's phone call. And she tells Bambi that, you know, she may have, or she said a racial, not a, she didn't say racial slur, she called Spice a monkey. Now, Bambi was upset, but was quick to get over it, particularly because Erica Mena was quick to offer an apology to Bambi and Sierra for them even having to deal with the situation. So it didn't seem like she was apologizing about the situation, but for the fact that Bambi and Sierra was dealing with this, okay? And I was shocked that Bambi accepted this apology, and she apparently wanted to drop this ASAP. She didn't want to burden Erica Mena with this conversation. So she was quick to let that go and move forward. Now, the castmates, they were not as forgiving, but they did seem to want to move past the scenario and enjoy their vacation as a focus, as opposed to continuing this conversation. Some of them wanted to talk to Erica Mena in person, so it was on pause, this scenario, but it was a little bit weird for me. How can you have fun after such a big situation just dropped? This is going to change many dynamics and also how this show moves forward, but I'll save that to the end. So ultimately, we don't get to hear much about this situation. But you know, since we learned that there was scenes that was filmed after this trip, and Erica Mena confirms this, said that, you know, she still had a job following this incident and she filmed several scenes, which gave her the impression that what she said at the time with Spice did not terminate her relationship with Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Rather, the backlash that Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was receiving after the fact caused them to terminate their relationship with Erica Mena. So she feels that the company themselves are being hypocrites because it was good enough and good content to go viral for them to make money off, to capitalize off of. However, when it didn't serve them in their favor, they chose to wash their hands clean. Now, where I feel that, you know, is a bit unfair and dishonest and not transparent is that when this episode opens, we get a discretion that advised that MTV, Love and Hip Hop, Viacom do not stand by what was said in the comments with Spice and Erica Mena, okay? So I think it's unfair that, you know, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta themselves were able to decide, okay, whether to stand by Erica Mena or not with these comments, rather than to just tell the cast when that incident happens, do you want to continue filming with Erica Mena? Do you want to choose to continue working in this environment in which we are not addressing such human, you know, some human behavior, what was going on in this situation? Because it didn't respect, the company did not respect the castmate's choice. Because me, knowing my castmate said such comment to someone who can look like me, how do I know in the future that she is not going to do that to me as well, or feel that way towards me currently? I want to have choice. I want to have transparency. And it's not like this film, this clip or this audio was hidden from the production. They had it. They could have shown everyone instead of having the game of telephone where we have to rely on Bambi and Sierra. Come on. We didn't even have to rely on Spice on the situation. They could just roll the tape. If I was Spice, I would have just told them, roll the tape. I'm not talking. I'm not filming. Just roll the tape. Have everyone aware of the situation. Or at least make me feel that I have support from management in which this situation is being investigated and worked on, because it didn't give that appearance. Because we do get to see Erica Mena film scenes. She appeared in Bambi's divorce party, in which Yandy confronts Erica Mena, challenges her, and try to hold her accountable. Whereas Erica Mena, she barks back, and she stands by how she violated Spice because she was protecting her son. So Yandy questions Erica Mena and says that you do not want to change that whole situation at all. So that's when you kind of see it click for Erica Mena that, okay, I need to be careful with my words. However, she do stands with that she was in the right. She was in the right to violate Spice in the manner in which she did, okay? No, 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 no. So when we got to the roundtable talk, I was so shocked to how short they actually let played on this platform. This is such a major platform, and they only played a little clip of it, and you had to go to a website to see it in its entirety. So the point of the roundtable talk was for the castmates to have a discussion, and they shared their experience on racial discrimination. I felt like, given that we saw this as viewers on a platform at a specific time, we should see the discussion of this at that same time too as well. Don't have us go to through another website to see this, because you know what you're doing when you do that. It's the same energy when a public figure is called out for some sort of wrongdoings, and they publish on an obscure channel or an obscure location their response to them addressing it. So it gets buried and not found, and it's not highlighted or leave a blemish to their image. But I feel like, we're a little bit wise onto that. We know better. We are grown people who watch this television show. So we are not ones to be easily fooled, okay? Definitely Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. The production team and Viacom could definitely have handled this situation much, much better. One resolution I would offer is to have, when we're filming a reality television show, since this is reality with real humans as, tools to produce a television show, that we must have some sort of human resources personnel on set while filming, okay? On set while filming, to make sure that everyone is taken care of emotionally, psychologically, physically, because this is using your whole being to produce content, and there has to be some sort of oversight to make sure everything is being followed, that protocol is taken, okay? We cannot just leave it up to backlash to dictate how we act. This is supposed to be a full-fledged business, and I need to see you guys do business things. So, guys, I want to know your thoughts about this episode. Was it sufficient enough for you? Because I thought it was a failure. I thought it was a failure, and they really tried to package this in a pretty little bowl and say, here you go, okay? Now, in the round table talk, we do get a moment for Spice to address the situation. And now, since everyone has seen the recording, seen the audio, they are now actually ready to listen, okay? There is no question about what actually happened. They all saw it with their own eyes, their own ears, and they're now able to process their own thoughts with their own brain. Now, at this moment, Spice, she took the opportunity to say that no matter what she said beforehand, it does not, give birth or give right for someone to say something that is racist, okay? Because what does that make you? It's what you hold inside yourself that, you brought it out, okay? And I thought that was an excellent point that she made. And it was interesting that everyone was finally listening to Spice, where we're not giving excuses about that kids are off limits. We all know kids are off limits, but I have to say, there has to be some sort of line that we draw. We cannot excuse such poor behavior in which we're able to allow people to demean other people based on racial prejudice, okay? We should know better than this. And while the whole cast reflects to say that, Erica's statements does not seem to be genuine, it does not mean they themselves cannot, decide how they should move forward in this situation. So I do think there's much, 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 much change coming up for this television show. I do think moving forward, there's going to be people who are going to be left behind, okay? There's going to be people left behind because I used to watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And it used to be fun, it used to be funny, very lighthearted, but it got to a space where it's just a cloud over it. And I can't watch stuff that, makes and brings sadness, okay? And I know you guys don't either too as well, because you want to get back to the joy, the fun. This is why we watch. You want to relax, okay? So I hope they, switch strategies and how they move forward, not only in terms of casting, but in terms of how they're producing this show. So, of course, guys, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments down below your thoughts of this final episode and if you guys will continue to watch. So, as always, share as much kindness as possible because clearly, this world needs it, okay? So, take care and have a great rest of your week. Love you guys.